Hey, good afternoon everybody, and welcome back to the channel. If you've been following along, we're back out here on the massive custom home going in the Temecula wine country, and it is an awesome sunny day. Doesn't get any better weather-wise. And as you can see behind me, we've got the first floor framed on this huge house. So we did lose about 4 days. Last video I believe we had just poured the foundation. So we got about a week into the framing on this because we lost 4 or 5 days because of rain. But, we do need the rain. We don't get much of it around here. So it rained for about 4 or 5 days. And now the guys are out here shooting down these walls, bolting down all the hardware and all the anchor bolts. We're going to go down right now and check all that out. And I'm going to cover everything you do when you start getting into framing. That's the first phase after the concrete foundation. So I believe last video I posted was they were cutting all the plates and all the headers and everything. And now we're going to go down and check out all the framing that's going on. And we're going to talk about plumb and line. If you're not familiar with that, we line these walls, we put a line on them, make sure they're nice and straight. We put a level on them, make sure they're standing plumb, straight up and down, before we start getting into the second floor. Okay, so you want to make sure all that's done. You want to make sure your walls are nice and plumb and everything's square before you start putting up your ceiling joists or your floor trusses, because that's going to hold all of it together. And you want all your walls to be nice and straight and plumb. So we're going to go down and check out what these guys are doing right now. They're bolting down all the hardware. They're shooting down the walls. We have a gun that we use. We shoot, pin the walls down to the concrete. We're going to go check that out and get into that. So hopefully you guys followed along on Dustin Williams' project. We got his shop up and built. And my guys are over there right now forming up for his concrete driveway. So we're going to get that driveway poured for him so he can start pulling his cars into there. Next step on that project is going to be solar or electrical or whatever he decides to go with. But before we get any further, if you guys wouldn't mind, please give me a thumbs up on my video, like the video, subscribe and follow us along on our channel. We have a lot going on. We build a lot in this area. We build massive projects, and you don't want to miss out on that, especially if you want to get into building, which is hopefully what you're going to want to do, because I'm trying to get people to get interested in trades, right? Trade schools. I don't care if it's framing or building homes or plumbing. There's good living to be made in the trade. So hopefully you guys will follow along. Hopefully you'll subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up. I do it all the time. I forget when I watch videos to go down and give a like. But we really cannot build the channel without you guys. So if you could go down and give us a like, that would be awesome. But without any more talking, let's go down here and find out what's going on. Okay, let's walk over here and check out what these guys are doing right now. As I mentioned, the very first thing you're going to do when you pour the foundation, the next thing you're going to do is get your lumber, and you're going to start cutting all your plates, all your top plate and all your bottom plate. You're going to cut all the headers, all the window sills, and all the cripples that go above and below those. So they've done all that. They framed the first floor. Now they're putting up beams. They're doing all the beams and everything, and they're plumb and lining. So I'm going to cover plumb and line right now. Before they start framing walls, I mentioned before in a previous video, you snap out all your dimensions on the foundation. So use red chalk or whatever chalk you use. Snap out all your dimensions on the foundation. That way, when you frame these walls, everything is square, the way it's supposed to be. You square out all the walls where they go, put the walls to the lines, you shoot the walls down on the interior. On the exterior, we have a bunch of hold downs, because we are an earthquake state. We have a bunch of structural hold downs. We bolt all those down. Then we bolt down all the perimeter plates, because when you start plumb and lining, you have to push these walls and you have to nail braces to hold those walls in place. You don't want the bottom plate moving around, or you can't get the walls nice and plumb and nice and square. So let's find out right now. Let's go in here and check out what the guys are doing. I'll point out everything that they've done, but this is the next phase in the framing. Frame the walls, then plumb and line before you get into the second floor. So let's check it out. So you can see right here, it's just one of the anchor bolts that we have. This is a 5/8 anchor bolt. You know, it has 2 washers on it. Those washers are mandatory now. Those are 3-inch washers on the bottom. They're really big. You see them all the way around, right? And anywhere where we can't put a bolt or we have trouble putting bolts, you want to shoot the walls down. So that's a shot right here. They use, those are red blanks, 22 caliber blanks. They put them in a gun and they shoot those nails into the concrete. But you bolt everything down, right? All your bolts, you have to have an anchor bolt within 6 inches of the end of a plate. You can see where this wall ends right here, the end of a plate. You have to have one within 6 inches. If not, you have to drill in, right? And you have to put a Titan bolt in there or epoxy one in. So they went around and did all that. This doesn't get tightened down because this is actually a slider. Those get cut off. But they bolted everything down. You can see this is double 2x6 walls. Now, you see all these angle braces going right here. This is plumb and line right here. What they did was they nail it to the bottom of this outside wall that's bolted down. They nail it to the bottom. And then this wall over here, they push it. They put a line on it. They push it till it's nice and straight, and then they nail it off. So they nail the nail first at the top. Somebody comes over here at the bottom and they push this brace. They push it until he tells them he's got his level over there and he's plumbing the wall. They push that wall until it's nice and plumb, and then they shoot nails in the bottom right here. Same thing with all these. All these right here, same thing. So you can see the angle of this brace goes this way. So obviously this wall had to push that way. So they pushed the wall that way, got it nice and plumb, and then they nailed off this brace. You do this all the way through the house. This is how you get all these walls nice and plumb with the level. Let's go over here. See, they even nailed one up here to make sure that the center of this outside wall, so it's not wavy. They put a line on it, and then they make sure that this span in this hallway is the same. Right here's the structural hold down. You've probably seen these on a previous job or one of my other videos. That's an HD5. That's a structural hold down. It gets bolted down to the plate, and it gets bolted to this post. These hold downs usually bolt to post, like a 6x6 or a 4x6. And it has these SDS screws that have to go in here. There's a level that they use, right? This level extends way out, and they put a level on these walls, make sure they're nice and plumb. But you can see on the interior, they use shot and pins, and they shoot down the interior walls. Okay, so that's what's happening out here today. Like I said, this is the next step in framing. You want to get all these walls, you can see all these braces right here. You want to get all these walls nice and plumb, standing straight up and down before we start putting floor trusses on. Because once we put floor trusses on and we start putting all these structural beams up here, you're not going to move these walls anymore, right? And if this bottom floor is out of square and out of plumb, well, the top floor is going to be the same. Okay, everything's looking good. You can see right here all the interior walls, right? They have shots and pins, right? This whole entire house is double 2x6. That's it, looks good. This house is quite long, 185 feet. You see they have all these walls done. Okay. Looks good. This is a channel right here. This is for this wall, so we have this wall going this way, this wall going here. So this wall nails into the channel, and it overhangs at the top because it's a 2x6 wall. This wall has an overhang on it of 5.5 inches. You can see it up above, right? That's part of the channel. You solid nail it, but everything's looking really good. There's where our panel's going to go right there. I pointed that out in the previous video. Our panel's going there, and that's going to be our sprinkler timer. And then this whole entire wall, this house is getting solar. All of our solar hardware and everything is going to go on this wall as well. So this is the garage, looking really good. So that's what's happening out here today. Just, you know, like I said before, this is all scheduling, right? We poured the foundation. After the foundation was down, we came in the next day, we saw cut, put all of our relief joints in the foundation, so help prevent cracking. I mean, you're never gonna stop cracking ever in concrete, right? But you can do a lot of things to minimize the cracking. So we cut relief joints. Then our guys come in, snap all the lines, pull the dimensions off the plans, snap lines so they know where to put the walls. They make sure those lines are nice and square, right? Then they start cutting all the top plate and all the bottom plate, which I covered in the previous video. You cut all your top plates, all your bottom plates. Then you cut all your header material. That's just the beams that go, if you can see behind me, the beams that go above the windows and doorways, that's headers. You cut the header material. Then you cut all your sill, your window sills and all that, and all the cripples. That's the short ones that you see below the windows. The short ones, that cut the cripples above the headers and below the window sill. You cut all that. Then the framing crew comes in and starts framing it, nailing it all together. Once it's all nailed all together, then you start plumbing line. So you want to have all your bottom floor done. You want to bolt down. First thing, bolt down all your hardware, all your hold downs, bolt those down. Shoot down all the walls on the interior, so that way the bottom plate can't move around when you're trying to put a level on it and plumb the walls. Ooh, it's quite windy out here today. Bolt everything down, shoot the walls down, and then get your guys with the level and you start plumbing line. You start lining these walls, looking down them, making sure they're nice and straight, you know, not going wavy like this. Then after all the plumbing line's done, after all the beams are set for this lower floor, we will start putting the floor trusses. This house isn't getting floor joists, it's getting floor trusses. They're 2-foot trusses. You start putting all the trusses on, right? Because those trusses are a certain length. They need to match the walls. That's why you want to make sure your walls are standing straight up and down and nice and plumb. So that's what the guys are doing right now, setting all the beams, finishing the plumbing line on that end of the house. Like I said, this house is quite large. It's 185 feet long. So there's a lot of walls in here. And then we're going to get rolling. We have some steel that's being delivered, a lot of big steel I-beams. We're going to start putting those up next. But like I said before, make sure everything's plumbing line nice and straight before you start putting steel or all that up, because once it's up, you're not going to be moving walls around. Won't be possible, especially once you sheet that second floor. So anyway, like I said, don't forget to give us a thumbs up on our video. Make sure you subscribe and follow us along on all of our projects. Make sure you continue to follow us on Dustin Williams' project. You know, we're super excited for those guys over there, and his shop is almost done. He just, you know, next step over there for him financially, he's got to come up with the get the money together to do the electrical, right? Do all the lights and everything, and then get his lifts in there, bolted down the floor. But if you're following his channel, he'll keep you up to date on that stuff. But we're going to pour his concrete next week for his driveway. So give us a thumbs up on our video. Don't forget to subscribe, like the channel right here. Like I said, we can't build it without you guys. You know, we're waiting for the YouTube algorithm to kick in, right? So they'll start recommending our video to other people. But we appreciate you guys. Keep watching. You guys have an outstanding weekend, and hopefully you can learn something by watching our projects that'll help you with your project.